in Minnesota, and they had an outdoor quilt show. And one of the things that they had that day was bed turning, in which they featured different quilt makers who would talk about their quilts, and after they had talked about it, they would roll it back and talk about the next one. Well, I thought, this is our Barnswallow's 25th anniversary. What a great opportunity to showcase many of their original Barnswallow members and look at the quilts that they have made and over a retrospective of how things have changed. And there's always stories with the quilts as well. And so this morning we had Meg Suderman to share, and we also had some Barnswallow quilts. And now Elsie Braun is going to share, and after that Katie is going to share. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And so, Elsie, let's start here with you. This is your first quilt that you want to talk about.
I really only started when I was older, and this is the first one where I went to the quilt store and bought material. Otherwise, I would just, well, we didn't have a quilt store, and we didn't know where to buy cottons. So this is the one, and I took a course, and then I did the whole thing by hand. They're all pieced by hand, and it's quilted by hand, this one. So that, I was really proud of that, and I still admire it. Yeah.
And this is called a sampler quilt, and why is it a sampler quilt?
Because all the blocks are different. You learn how to make all the quilts for the blocks.
And so it combines some piecing and some appliquing as well.
Yeah, and here I did the leaf beside, and they thought it was a mistake, but they say all the quilters have to have imperfections, so I did that.
So over here you see one place where her leaf is not passed there like that.
They phoned me and said you made a mistake. It's not supposed to be like that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And for your backing, you just chose
The plain muslin.
plain muslin.
Well, that's about all we could get at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you also notice your corners here aren't square.
Yeah, I did that way just so they wouldn't hang on the floor.
Exactly. So, you know, there's reason for most things we do, right?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Well, I enjoyed making that.
Yeah, it is.
Teacher, Donna Stewart. You know her? In the pond. And then it was the thing to do to make a Lone Star. So I took a course in that. I enjoyed that. So these are the colors that were in them. And that's a star, and here's the mountains, sun in the mountains I designed in there. And I quilted it by hand.
So your quilting reflects that. So she was saying that in the border, she has the mountain peaks there and the sun there like that.
Yeah, and then I use the leftover for the border here.
That's a great way to use it. Now I understand that when you make a Lone Star, it's really difficult because you make each one of these pieces separately, right? And then you have to sew it together. People tell me it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a little trouble.
So how did you manage to handle that?
Well, that's what it turned out to be.
Was it good? Was it hand pieced?
No, this one wasn't hand pieced.
This she machine pieced.
Yeah,
but
this-
I wrote it. You hand quilted it.
Yeah, hand quilted. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's what we did.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And so you bought all these fabrics as well. You didn't have these. How long does it take? How long did it take?
Oh, I never know a time because you start something and you work different things in between. So that one I don't know.
And let's just, Katie, let's show this here a little bit. Look at the interesting design you get when you, like with the quilting design here now.
Lovely.
And you know what? When you have fabrics like this with just one color at the back, you can often use it as another quilt, right? Because you get a completely different pattern just with the stitching. So you got a whole cloth quilt out of it. Whole cloth meaning one piece of fabric. Exactly.
Hi, Brenda. I'm getting sidetracked. Hi, Dad.
This I made out of charcoal. Still are, but at the beginning of it, and I put them together and put the prairie points on tabletop. Gave a lot of them away as gifts.
So if somebody asks you, I don't understand quilting, what's a charm square? What is a charm square?
It's the squares.
The 5-inch squares.
They are pre-cut squares that are 5 inches, and it's a way of making it very convenient for people to quilt. And this was called your prairie point. So how do you make a prairie point?
Fold it square and you fold 2 times and then you sew them in.
Okay, so you fold it once, and you fold it one more time so that you have no raw edges showing here like that. So that's a very point. It's a decorative way of adding it to pieces. Yeah, I remember we made a lot of these, didn't we? At the store. They were a great way.
Lovely gifts.
Yep. And practical. Exactly, and it's reversible like this, right?
And there's no batting in there, right?
No batting.
No batting.
It's flat for the table.
And then you want to hold that piece up.
That one is out of Corey and Myra's book.
Myra Hartman and Corey
Yeah.
Dirksen.
And I liked it because it had paper piecing there, which I enjoyed at that time. It's a few years back, and the apple gave a nice runner.